What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Let's Build the Enterprise A 2.0 Season 1 Episode 15. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you guys very much for tuning in today's episode. And if you guys haven't had the chance, please help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you all enough for that. Today we've got about a 14-minute episode. We're going to be focusing on our bridge and our bridge shelf. So without further ado, let's kick back, relax, and we're going to dive right into this thing. So I was talking about this before, but we need to make some adjustments to how the bridge looks, because I was talking about this in another episode, and I want to do this more often. So we need to break down the shape of the bridge. And this is where to give you guys an idea. So imagine drawing a circle and you throw a triangle on top of that. And maybe you cut off the tip of the triangle. That's essentially the shape that we need. So we're going to start, we're going to go in 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to build off this row right here. Get rid of this. This was something I did off screen. But the reason why I stopped to take a second to describe the shape that we're making, this is so vital to the build and what we're doing here. Because when you break down your build into small sections, and then from there into shapes, it becomes much easier to build things out. So we were just focusing on the bridge area itself, and we're just going to try to build out a new back-end template here. I'm not calling these out row to row. I'm going slow enough, you guys should be able to keep up with me. But for whatever reason, we need to go back. Hey, hit that rewind button. And we're just going to bring that straight across in the back. And then we're going to zoom up and look at it from the top. That's not looking too bad. So I think what I want to do at this point, I want to switch this into a builder line. The reason I want to do that, I just want this line to stick out just a little bit more. We'll come back and switch it back if we end up keeping this row. But for right now, I want to make sure to switch this to blue. Alright, we got a couple more rows to knock out. So now you guys should be left with something that looks like this. This is where I said, you know, we have our circle, you imagine your circle, and then if you have kind of like a triangle on the back end, you just cut the tip off. See? And this is the bread and butter of building out these ships. I'm going to try to talk about this more and more as we go. Anytime I'm building something out, talking about the shapes in my head and what I'm making, so I can hopefully help you guys out. Because I'm trying to do everything I can here to go through my process and what I do. Because the way I figure is that if I'm going through my full process and I can get you guys thinking the way that I do when it comes to these builds, you'll be able to build them a little bit closer to what I'm doing if that's what you're going for. But even if you're not, it's not a bad idea to think about all these things. These are things that really have helped me out in the long run to make these ships and just these builds in general come out as good as they have. We're not looking too bad here, but now one of the issues that I'm noticing is that the front just feels a little bit too stretched out. So what I want to do as a test, I want to take off this first row of the half slabs and see how that looks, and see if maybe taking off one row is going to make a difference. Because what we can do, we can just fill all this in. Not a big deal. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So now we're just going to come back with the half slabs and just bring that down by one. We'll see how that looks. If we have to make some adjustments, we can. We may end up having to come back and make a slight pass at the overall shell for the front end of the saucer. I'm trying to remember exactly if we went that far or not. I just know for certain that I came back and I had done at least one revision on it. But, you know, cut me just a little bit of slack. It's been a minute since I actually built this out live, because I've been sitting on this build waiting to the point where we got to 1,000 subscribers. But I think what I want to do now, I want to take off the sides a little bit, because again, it's stretched out just a little bit too much now on the sides. So I want to bring that in a little bit if I can. All right, that's looking pretty good. And you know, it's important to go back, and once you've done something, and analyze your work, critique it, compare it to your source material, your reference material. These are the things that are going to help your build to come out even better. So that's what I'm doing right here. And I think what's going to happen is I'm probably going to end up adjusting the back end after we made a couple of revisions here. So I'm trying to make it all match up. I'm actually almost certain we're going to end up coming back to one more pass on this. I actually remember for certain now that what we end up on here, we'll come back one more time on the bridge, if I'm not mistaken, and then we'll get it finally to the point where it ends up being in the tour episode. Because I'm noticing two things. It's too wide on the sides, but in doing so, in making these changes, it's starting to get a little bit bulky on the sides. I actually had the same issue on my very first Enterprise A refit that I had done. So if you guys want to check that out, feel free. It's on my playlist. But I think once we're done, this is going to look awesome. We're not there yet. Because like I said, we're being faced with two problems right now. The front and the sides. I think ultimately what we're going to have to do is just come back with the half slabs and maybe redo the front, because I don't think doing that row of the half slabs in the front is going to cut it. It's not exactly giving me the shape that I want. Now with that being said, you guys know me. If you're happy with this, I say go for it. Do whatever is going to work for you and your build to make it come out exactly how you want it to look. And just because I built it out a certain way doesn't mean you have to do that too. This is just a loose guide to help you guys out on your journey in building out your own customized Constitution class refit from the Kelvin timeline. So we're going to keep moving for now, and you can see I'm just adding a row of half slabs going with a cut line along the blue, going up and in one with a cut. And to be fair, like I said, you know, this doesn't look terrible. I mean, we can rock this out. It's just, for me, the sides right now are something that's standing out that needs it needs a little bit of work. So right now we're going to come back with another pass with the half slabs. I'm just going to go with the cut line. Not filling all this in quite yet. And now we're going to come back, and that original row of half slabs going along the blue, we're going to get rid of that. Because essentially what I'm going to try to do is make more of a transition point with the cuts. I'm trying to set it up for that. Because what we could do is once we do this going all the way around, we can get rid of the blue, and then we can do a row of half slabs instead of the full block of blue to give it more of a transition point. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Try to hit mute when it comes up, but just kind of popped out there. But we're looking pretty good here. Let's see. I'm going to try to clear out just a little bit of this on the sides, I think. I don't think we're actually going to build it out, but I just want to bring down this original circle because this is going to be our bridge room. So I just want to transition this down by one row. That's looking pretty good. I do this side right here. You can see there in the corners, I intentionally left those open. That's where our turbo lifts will go. I had a brain fart there for a second. All right. So we're going to get rid of this blue builder line in the middle just to open this up a little bit. Give us an idea of the real estate that we have to play with. Not a super huge bridge, but I think we'll have enough room to do what we need to do with this. All right, sweet, we're looking pretty good. So we're going to do some experimenting with the back shelf. Before we do that, I think I want to just try to extend out the back of the bridge just a little bit. Looking at the concept, or looking at my reference material, I want to try to check that out and see how that looks right there, because that'll be incorporated into the shelf that sits on the bridge. And this is good to do if you guys just want to make sure that you're staying with me. But like I said, there's going to be a slight trial and error period right here. Eventually what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using our hull lines on the top, and we're just going to blend all that in together eventually to bring it all together. Want to get an idea of what I'm talking about? Just make sure to watch the tour episode and look at the top section of the saucer. We're not quite there yet because it hasn't hit me that that's what the solution to the problem is. But right now, I'm just trying to get a feel, starting to work out my wireframe, and I just did an outline because I just want to see the transition point, looking at it from the side to see how that's going to look. Doesn't look too bad though. All right. So now we're going to try to fill in some of these hull lines on the shelving for the bridge. So this first gray line that's going around our bridge, we're just going to fill that in, going up and in one with a cut with half slabs. And then I'm going to come down to the next row of gray, and I'm going to repeat the same process. I'm just going to follow the cut line. But you know, it's going to be really important that we're doing this right now, because this is something that I talk about quite often, and this is a wonderful example of it, that sometimes you truly have to throw something down and see what it looks like to see what you need to do. And if I hadn't started to build out the shelf for the bridge in this way, I honestly might not have stumbled across the solution to the problem. So don't be afraid to do this yourself, trying out new things. You want to make sure that you're going to go along your full outline here of each shelf row with that gray, and just go along the cut line with those half slabs. Once you've got that done, that's going to wrap up today's episode. But yeah, we've shot through 14 minutes like it was nothing, but I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in today's episode. And if you've enjoyed this content today, if you can help me out, hit that like and subscribe button, drop a comment below, join the Discord. I definitely love hearing from everybody. Any questions or just dropping by to say hey, definitely love hearing from anybody. One thing though, if you guys can help me out, one thing that I really need right now is my watch hours. So if you're not doing anything, throw my playlists up. If you guys can help me out, the more watch hours I get, the more views I get, the more comments I get. All these things help my channel. So I'm not asking anybody for any money or anything like that, but if you can do that for me, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. But that's going to do it for me today. I just want to thank everybody again. I hope everybody has a happy and safe week, and I'll catch you in the next episode. And of course, what did you make of Minecraft today? Post your photos in the Discord.